What's up guys, this is Shirach talking, welcome back to my channel. In today's video we'll be talking about farming on Leon's Arc. We have episode 1.1 and 1.2. First things first, all stages here have the same status cap. So you can decide which stage you want to farm right now, doesn't matter. The status cap is 1870s. One thing we need to understand. You will eventually have to farm all stages because they drop different materials for craft. The first part will have the ancient materials, and this second part will have the black iron materials, as you can see in the drop. And each stage will drop two different materials. So we'll start with stage number 1.1. I suggest you start with swords or great swords. Those are the most common weapons in this game. Enemies have a lot of HP here. You don't need to bring trainees. You just have to focus on farming fast so you can get more materials and upgrade. But right now, I'll just be showcasing strategies that uses double S weapons that we already have. So the first stage has enemies weak to blunt as a whole, but you can also attack them with heat and cold with characters like Joe. First strategy we're gonna use is this one that uses gunners from SaGa Frontier. We have Fuse, Prefecture, Emelia, and T260G Omega style. The BP coast should be this one. We have Starlight Shower on 8 and Cosmic Rave on 15. This version of Emelia has to use dual wield shot and then inherit total shot, and Fuse just stay as he is. You are gonna bring two trainees here and it works. Well, this formation increases the turn order, so Emelia will always go first and then Teacher 60 finishes the enemies. On the second wave, Teacher 60G does not have AoE again, so it's time for Fuse to use air support and help out Emelia finishing these enemies. Even if Teacher 60G attacks, doesn't matter because it's just a normal attack. But now on the third wave we have Starlight Shower again, and alongside Total Shot from Emelia should be enough to kill all enemies. Now the second strategy brings Rainbow Rangers, and you have Joe on the top. It can be either the first or the third Joe. If it's the third Joe, you just have to use Winter Show. Then there is Prefecture Alkaiser here. He's gonna use Punishing Fist. And we have Dragon, Genryu, and he's gonna use Hybrid Fort 3 times in a row. You can bring 2 trainees on this one. With Joe on the top, we're gonna have weak AoEs, but they will be enough to just at least do damage in all waves. These enemies don't have too much HP, so this is gonna work. The second wave has a skeleton. We're gonna hit for all our weaknesses too. Don't need combos, this is overkill. Sometimes it happens. Last wave, we have 3 enemies, a mix between the first and second wave. The bees have lower HP, but the skeleton don't have much. For the second strategy, we have a mage setup that will also hit in all with their weaknesses. We have Shirach here in the middle of an Anima string formation, just inherit Incense. There is also Bird Apollo. He's gonna inherit Meteor Swarm, so he has a full AoE cycle. There is also Joe. It can be either the first one or the third one, but it depends on what you want to use. This one I'll be using Winter Show. And then there are 2 trainees on this as well. Well, the first attack is gonna be the fast ones. In this case, I'm using Sorbet Flambe. Clean up the Night Wind. Now it's time for Apollo to shine. He's gonna do a lot of damage. Well, the plant attacked it before. Now on the third wave, it's just a combined effort for all of them. The bees are actually pretty fast. Sometimes they will attack before you. That's it. For the next strategy, we're gonna bring this scattered formation and 2 martial arts units in the front line. We have Boston, he's gonna use Ultra Earthshaker and Mirage Kick for a full AoE setup. Then there's Prefecture, Alkaiser, and in the middle we can bring the first version of Creator or the third one by inheritance of Creator's power, because this one will hit for cold and then we'll just attack with heat to hit the weaknesses of the skeleton. We can bring 2 trainees on this one. So there we go. The martial arts units will attack before, usually. They have higher agility. We even got a combo that's even overkill. My Fiatulas had an increase to BP, so sometimes when you kill the enemies without the help of Creator, it's gonna use Fiatulux on the second wave. This is actually good because his enemies are weak to sun attacks. Now we have the third wave with Blunt and the last attack from Creator combined. But these bees are too fast. Now we're going to move to stage 1.1.2. This one has enemies weak to Slash and sometimes weak to Shadow too. So you're gonna need to bring Slash primarily, it's better. You can bring 3 characters with weak AoE attacks that they can attack 3 times in a row. I'm bringing Amazon Redux formation and I'm using the Marvelous Slash attack that you can find in Grey in the welfare version of Katarina. Those 2 characters are free to everyone. And there is also Leonard. You can bring the latest version of Actor. He also has an attack that can use it 3 times in a row and will work just the same. You can bring 2 trainees and the formation is Amazon Redux. So here we go. I placed it Grey in the front line because he kind of has the lowest agility, I guess. Not so far from Katarina, but still. So the combined effort of them all will work. Another character that will work just the same is UDX Gustav or Rick, but I will be using them in different formations and strategies, and at least this one brings 2 platinum units. It's easy to replicate. Well, one is platinum, the other one is a prize welfare from the last event. Next strategy brings Amazon Redux formation. We have Christmas Urpina here on the front line. You will be using Mirage Blade Plus instead of Holy Shining Sword. There's also Rick. He's gonna help a little with Flame Frenzy. And you can bring a trainee here that has to have an AoE attack to attack on the 3rd wave. But it's still 3 trainees slots on this one. So the first enemy have higher HP, the second one doesn't have so many. Mirage Blade Plus is more than enough to finish. Well, the second wave is here. It's gonna be Mirage Blade Plus again in Far Flash. For the last wave, we're gonna need a little extra help from the trainee just to kill the 2 humans. And that's it. This other formation brings Amazon Redux, and we have Ildon on the front line. Ildon is gonna do a lot of damage, and you have to increase for Saruin PO to 12. Then we have here Saruin. You're just gonna use him as he is. And there is Leon. Leon is important because he has delay, and you can bring 2 trainees. So there we go. Ildon will do AoE damage, and he can even paralyze. Not like you need actually, but still. Ildon and Saruin are more than enough, but they need to be capped and you should bring full HP stones. The second wave, the enemies are not so fast or even strong. We're getting combos. These enemies are much slower than the past. Now on the last wave we have Imperial Glory. This one was on 16, so that means that he only attacks on the 3rd wave. And now we have more than enough to finish the other enemies without even using Saruin. That's why Ildon is in the front line. Okay, now moving on to stage 1.1.3. This stage is terrible. I really don't like it, but you need to farm to get some of the materials. So let's talk about what we can bring. Deadly Pierce Axe formation is one of the best ones. You can bring the Zenon here, and you can amplify Noble Cross Plus. We can, since the last update, leave like needles on tree. Then you can also bring Darque, and he has Sword Ballet Plus. I also amplified this, it's not maxed yet. It's better than just using his other attacks. Then Matriarch is on the middle, and she's gonna use Gleaming Way 3 times in a row. You can bring 2 Trainees, but all cards need to be maxed. These enemies have a lot of HP. Noble Cross Plus. 50,000 around. The good thing is that we get critical with the second attack from Matriarch. The enemies are dead, but the second wave, this one have the highest amount of HP from this update. We will do critical, that's good enough. Then it has Word Ballet and Light Needles. Still enough to kill them, but they have more than 100,000, maybe 110,000. Now the last wave, it's just about using what you still have. Gleaming Way, Light Needles, and throwing knives now. They are not dead, as you can see. Your trainee still has to do a little extra. Well, the next strategy uses Amazon Raid Axe formation, and we have here on the front line Cordelia, because I want to use a Sprinkle. This attack here is actually pretty good. And there is again the third version of Matriarch with her Gleaming Way, and another one that I have been using, Ildon. He's gonna do critical damage against the enemies, so this is a critical based squad. 2 trainees as well. So for this stage, I recommend you using full HP stones. It's not easy to deal with all of them. I inherited Shining Glory, but it's not like you need here. You can still kill the enemies with Gleaming Way. Now the second wave, it's kinda a lot of HP again, but it still works. Ildon may or not trigger his passive that will give him access to AoE again. But even his single target attack is good because it's double hits. So he's gonna kill the enemies either way. But you need these characters maxed. This is not easy. Or some of the new craftable weapons. And there we go. Now there is another strategy. You bring Magia fight formation with Albert and instant Q setup. So Victor's Blade inherited. And you leave Leon in the back row. You're gonna leave his Imperial Glory in 13. You still need help, so I have here in the middle Polka with his Soul Burn inherited and on 16. Doesn't need to be this attack, this is overkill, but you need extra help to finish this wave. So these enemies can be instant killed. At least this. These ones cannot, but they are weak to Sun at least. And Leo is buffing so that we get more damage with Albert. And this will be enough to kill the enemies. 40,000 from Victor's Blade. Now, Albert's gonna kill one of the enemies, but he still cannot finish this. So Soul Burn is pretty powerful. Now it's all about the normal attack, we'll kill this dragon, or anything that your trainees do, we just kill. Now let's move on to the next stage, stage number 4. Here we have enemies that can be instant killed, plenty of them. But on the third wave we have this enemy that has a ton of HP and it cannot be instant killed. But it's weak to all elemental types. So you're gonna bring Albert in the front line of Magia fight formation, and you can bring as well Leon in the back line, because Leon makes Albert stronger and it's easy to control, can be used for wave 3. And then you need a trainee here that deals elemental damage. I'm bringing Zeke. He's gonna finish the enemies, but it can be anyone. I consider this as a trainee setup. The first wave is gonna be easy because they are not so fast, so you always be attacking before the enemies. Now the second wave you find frogs. They are slow as well. Maybe even give you combos. Now the third wave, these older enemies have a ton of HP. I mean, a ton. The good thing is that Leon is buffing Albert's damage, and now Zeke is gonna finish with Barrage. For the second strategy, we have Amazon Raid Axe, and two of the best AoE attackers. We have Christmas Urpina, but I am leaving her on Holy Shine's Word for 15. Then I have Leon with Imperial Glory on 16, and Rick in normal setup, but just leave Heaven on Earth on 8. It's gonna help you if some combo happens. 2 trainees on this one. So Rick is almost strong enough to finish this, but not quite. That's why Mirage Blade Plus is enough. So now it's Fire Flash, together with another Mirage Blade Plus. And it's enough. These enemies have lower HP. Now for the last wave, we have Leon helping out again. He's a very important character for this setup. It's gonna allow other characters to do more damage. And we have elemental damage with both Urpina and Rick. And we don't need a combo, it just happened. Enemies are dead. Now let's move to stage number 5. The stage here has enemies weak to Slash and Shadow, as you can see it from here. And also Cold. There are some good alternatives. You can combo both Shadow and Cold. We have a character that can do that, and it's Bertrand. We can do it with the Inheritance of Frozequake from his second style, and he's gonna need a little extra help, and that happens if you have Matriarch. There's also another one that works, and that is the latest version of Actor. But she's good enough, you can just bring 3 trainees in the middle. So Bertrand, very powerful right from the start. The enemies don't have that much HP, they have lower than 80,000. They have around 60 something. A very good stage for farming and training status if you want. Now, so the enemies won't ever attack you, they have low agility. Now the last one is just a combination of both waves. And that's it, only 2 characters. Another alternative is to bring Magia Fight, but with Albert, IQ strategy on the front line, and Rick in the back line. It should work. Let's go. So Rick is gonna help Victor Blade do enough damage to kill. If your Rick is doing too much damage, bring Urpina instead. He gets pretty close of killing if he gets a combo. Second wave, the enemies are instant killable, so it's easy. The third wave, they are instant killable again, so pretty fast, only 4 attacks, easy to farm. As for the last strategy, we are gonna use Amazon Raid Axe in characters that can do Waterfowl Blade attack. Well, I don't have Summer Katarina or the Anniversary Actor, they are better on doing this, but I do have replacements. I have Final Impress, Amplified Waterfowl Blade, and Grey, and they work pretty well. They go very close to the damage these other premium styles can do. And I also have Leon because he buffs damage for them, but also he helps out with the second wave with his Imperial Glory. We can bring 2 trainees on this one. So Waterfowl Blade really helps here because the enemies are aligned in a column. Yeah. Now on the second wave, they are not aligned in a column, so that's why Leon helps. Imperial Glory, and then they would just finish each enemy by themselves. Since they can use it 3 times in a row, it just works. They can still use it again on wave number 3, where they are finally back in a column. Waterfowl Blade Plus, Waterfowl Blade Plus. And that's it, guys. This was the last strategy. Thanks so much for watching. I hope it helps. There are a lot of farming to do here, status and the new weapons, but it's a new goal in the game. I am excited. What about you? I hope to see you soon in the next video. Bye.